This presentation's ID is Scriptural Science 0023. The apostles and disciples of Jesus Christ did not finish going through the towns of Israel before the Son of Man came, which is how Jesus Christ said that it was going to be. Even the leaders of God's church on the earth have often given in to the world's arguments that the Bible contains claims that did not prove true. Usually, the church leaders do not say that they agree with the world on those Bible claims. Instead, they claim that the Bible passages in questions were not literal, but meant a whole lot of other things they came up with. Jesus Christ's unflinching proclamation to his apostles and disciples that the Son of Man would come before they went through the towns of Israel was one such example. Matthew 10 verses 21 to 23 NIV, brother will betray brother to death, and a father his child. Children will rebel against their parents and have them put to death. 22 You will be hated by everyone because of me, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. 23 When you are persecuted in one place, flee to another. Truly you will not finish going through the towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes. End of quote. The truth is that the Son of Man did come before the apostles could finish going through the towns of Israel. It is the so-called human experts who continue to challenge the claims of the Bible that lack knowledge because they lack understanding of the things of the Spirit. 1 Corinthians 2 verses 12 to 14 NV, what we have received is not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit who is from God, so that we may understand what God has freely given us. 13 This is what we speak, not in words taught us by human wisdom, but in words taught by the Spirit, explaining spiritual realities with Spirit-taught words. 14 The person without the Spirit does not accept the things that come from the Spirit of God, but considers the foolishness, and cannot understand them because they are discerned only through the Spirit. End of quote. The same statement Jesus Christ speaks to his believers often became a challenge to the bright minds of the world, which is what Jesus Christ was addressing when he told his apostles that he spoke to his believers plainly, but to the world, unbelievers, in parables. The leaders of the church through the ages have paralyzed the church by not making the distinction that believers do not have to prove anything to the unbelievers, because the unbelievers' inability to understand what the Bible is saying stems from their unbelief. John 8 verses 42 to 47 NIV, Jesus said to them, If God were your Father, you would love me, for I have come here from God. I have not come on my own. God sent me. 43 Why is my language not clear to you? Because you are unable to hear what I say. 44 You belong to your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies. 45 Yet, because I tell the truth, you do not believe me. 46 Can any of you prove me guilty of sin? If I am telling the truth, why don't you believe me? 47 Whoever belongs to God hears what God says. The reason you do not hear is that you do not belong to God. End of quote. John 14 verses 22 to 24 NIV. Then Judas, not Judas Iscariot, said, But, Lord, why do you intend to show yourself to us and not to the world? 23 Jesus replied, Anyone who loves me will obey my teaching. My Father will love them, and we will come to them and make our home with them. 24 Anyone who does not love me will not obey my teaching. These words you hear are not my own. They belong to the Father who sent me. End of quote. In responding to Judas's, not Iscariot, question, Jesus Christ said, anyone, showing that God did not give any human being the spirit of unbelief. That whoever fails to believe God and his Christ does so through their own active choice, regardless of whether they are Jew or Gentile. In John 14 verses 15 to 21 NV, Jesus Christ promised his apostles and disciples as follows. John 14 verses 15 to 21 NIV, If you love me, keep my commands. 16 And I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to help you and be with you forever. 17 The Spirit of truth. The world cannot accept him, because it neither sees him nor knows him. But you know him, for he lives with you and will be in you. 18, I will not leave you as orphans. I will come to you. 19, before long, the world will not see me anymore, but you will see me. Because I live, you also will live. 20, on that day you will realize that I am in my Father, and you are in me, and I am in you. 21, whoever has my commands and keeps them is the one who loves me. The one who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I too will love them and show myself to them. End of quote. The Son of Man came the moment Jesus Christ was raised from the dead by God, following Christ's crucifixion on the cross by the Roman authorities, as sentenced by the collective voice of the people, crucify him. The new government of the world, which Jesus Christ told his apostles was coming in John 14 verses 30 to 31, the beast of Revelation 13 that has a healed fatal wound on one of its heads. Below is John 14 verses 30 to 31 NIV, announcing the imminent coming of the collective voice of the people as the new government that will not only condemn Jesus Christ to death on the cross. Matthew 27 verses 22 to 26, but will irreversibly take over the rulership of the world societies everywhere across the face of the earth. Revelation 13 verses 1 to 9. Here is John 14 verses 30 to 31. I will not say much more to you, for the prince of this world is coming. He has no hold over me. 31, but he comes so that the world may learn that I love the Father and do exactly what my Father has commanded me. Come now, let us leave. End of quote. And here is Revelation 13 verses 1 to 9. The dragon stood on the shore of the sea, and I saw a beast coming out of the sea. It had 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 crowns on its horns, and on each head a blasphemous name. To the beast I saw resembled a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear and a mouth like that of a lion. The dragon gave the beast his power and his throne and great authority. One of the heads of the beast seemed to have had a fatal wound, but the fatal wound had been healed. The whole world was filled with wonder and followed the beast. For people worshipped the dragon because he had given authority to the beast, and they also worshipped the beast and asked, "Who is like the beast? Who can wage war against it?" 5. The beast was given a mouth to utter proud words and blasphemies, and to exercise its authority for 42 months. 6. It opened its mouth to blaspheme God, and to slander his name and his dwelling place, and those who live in heaven. 7. It was given power to wage war against God's holy people and to conquer them. And it was given authority over every tribe, people, language, and nation. 8. All inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast, all whose names have not been written in the Lamb's book of life, the Lamb who was slain from the creation of the world. 9. Whoever has ears, let them hear. End of quote. The Son of Man is the Jesus Christ who rose from the dead, the life-giving Spirit, the last Adam of 1 Corinthians 15 verse 45, who came to cloak the human beings that lived their lives in accordance with the commands of God and his Christ, with imperishable and immortal bodies, and ascended into heaven, and was seated on the right hand of God, waiting for the day he will be sent by God to judge the living and the dead. The Jesus Christ that spoke in Matthew 10 verse 23 was transformed by his sacrifice of his natural body on the cross, in which he bore the sins of all human beings through all human generations, to renew all who repented of their sins and began to live in compliance with his commands in the Bible. In other words, he sowed what was perishable, his natural body, and regained the imperishability he had given up prior to his arrest and crucifixion to allow himself to be touched and arrested by mere mortals, so that he could make the sacrifice he came to make of behalf of all mankind. That is what he was clarifying in John 10 verses 17 to 18 below. John 10 verses 15 to 18 NIV, I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me. 15, just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. 16, I have other sheep that are not of this sheep pen. I must bring them also. They too will listen to my voice, and there shall be one flock and one shepherd. 17, the reason my Father loves me is that I lay down my life, only to take it up again. 18, no one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have authority to lay it down and authority to take it up again. This command I received from my Father. End of quote. The Son of God, Matthew 16 verse 16, Matthew 26 verses 63 to 64, etc., was crucified by human beings, Matthew 17 verses 22 to 23, and was raised back to life the Son of Man 3 days after his crucifixion, Matthew 10 verse 23, and will come again as the Son of Man at yet another time to judge the dead and the living, Matthew 19 verse 28. Doing what he came to do so that the Son of Man can come was why he said, I have come to bring fire on the earth, and how I wish it were already kindled. 50, but I have a baptism to undergo, and what constraint I am under until it is completed. Luke 12 verses 49 to 50 NIV. Anything that is ordained by God to be accomplished by his Son Jesus Christ is as good as done. That allowed Jesus Christ, who is one with God, John 10 verse 30, when he was in the world over 2,000 years ago, John 14 verse 31, to go by any of his titles anytime he chose, Revelation 19 verse 12, because God, who remains faithful in all things, 2 Timothy 2:10-13, transcends time, Mark 2 verse 27, which was one of his creations, Genesis 1 verses 3 to 5. Here are the passages cited in the preceding two paragraphs. Matthew 17 verses 22 to 23 NIV, when they came together in Galilee, he said to them, the Son of Man is going to be delivered into the hands of men. 23, they will kill him, and on the third day he will be raised to life. And the disciples were filled with grief. End of quote. Matthew 10 verses 21 to 23 NIV, brother will betray brother to death, and a father his child. Children will rebel against their parents and have them put to death. 22, you will be hated by everyone because of me, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. 23, when you are persecuted in one place, flee to another. Truly I tell you, you will not finish going through the towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes. End of quote. Matthew 19 verses 27 to 30 NIV, Peter answered him, we have left everything to follow you. What then will there be for us? 28, Jesus said to them, truly I tell you, at the renewal of all things, when the Son of Man sits on his glorious throne, you who have followed me will also sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. 29, and everyone who has left houses or brothers or sisters or father or mother or wife, or children or fields for my sake will receive 100 times as much and will inherit eternal life. 30, but many who are first will be last, and many who are last will be first. End of quote. John 14 verses 28 to 31 NIV, you heard me say, I am going away, and I am coming back to you. If you loved me, you would be glad that I am going to the Father, for the Father is greater than I. 29, I have told you now before it happens, so that when it does happen you will believe. 30, I will not say much more to you, for the prince of this world is coming. He has no hold over me. 31, but he comes so that the world may learn that I love the Father and do exactly what my Father has commanded me. Come now, let us leave. End of quote. John 10 verse 30 NV, I and the Father are one. End of quote. Revelation 19 verses 11 to 12 NIV, I saw heaven standing open, and there before me was a white horse, whose rider is called Faithful and True. With justice he judges and wages war. 12, his eyes are like blazing fire, and on his head are many crowns. He has a name written on him that no one knows but he himself. End of quote. 2 Timothy 2 verses 10 to 13 NIV. Therefore I endure everything for the sake of the elect, that they too may obtain the salvation that is in Christ Jesus, with eternal glory. 11, here is a trustworthy saying, if we died with him, we will also live with him. 12, if we endure, we will also reign with him. If we disown him, he will also disown us. 13, if we are faithless, he remains faithful, for he cannot disown himself. End of quote. Mark 2 verse 27 NIV, then he said to them, the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. 28, so the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath. End of quote. Genesis 1 verses 3 to 5 NIV, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. For God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. 5. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning the first day. End of quote.